Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dingers and Discourse podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Mario Superstar Baseball. I'm here joined with Clutch 1908, and we have a new special guest, BoomerangBro, the winner of Stars on Showdown 8 and Net Play Superstars 11. What's up, BoomerangBro?
What's up? How's it going?
Well, we're doing very well. We are very, very happy to have you here. You want to explain yourself about, everything you've done in the server, how you got into the game?
Yeah, so I joined the server back in March, I think. I didn't really play it much at first, and then I started playing around in like April or May. Entered a couple tournaments, didn't do too great. I got into the game when I was younger, like 3 years old. My dad bought the game for me, and that's when I kind of started playing it. I always played Stars On because why not? Stars On is the ultimate way to play. And so when I joined the server, it was kind of a big adjustment to Stars Off, but I found there's a Stars On community. I've been having a great time with that, and now I'm loving both.
Hey, we are very happy to have you here. Thank you to Clutch again for the script for this week. We're going to be talking a little bit about yourself at the start. So you did win Stars on Showdown 8, winners finals, having Toasty and you. I believe you were in the finals for the last 3 tournaments?
Yeah.
So how did it feel? Let's just go off with a start. How does it feel to win the tournament finally?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. Like, always getting second place, it feels almost worse than getting out in pools or early bracket because you're so close, like one game away, and just can't quite get over the top. And then 3 times in a row, it's just gets a little heartbreaking. So this time I was confident going in, and I came out on top finally. So it felt really good.
So, all 3 games here had a one-run game in the bottom of the 5th, very close. A game. Can you just talk about like what you did to mix it up and make Toasty not know what was going on?
Yeah, one thing I really tried to do in this Stars on Showdown that I haven't done before is just switch-handedness in my batters. Before I was always kind of just using right, pretty much default for everybody. Which, if there was a certain pitcher, like if there was a lefty pitcher and all my people were righty, it was way harder for me to hit, and I was always swinging at the outside pitches. So this time I kind of went half and half, and then like alternating back and forth. So it made it a lot easier to not get so tripped up. And I also practiced a lot of my inputs. That's like holding down. So that's how I did so well with certain characters like Peach that I just couldn't hit with before. So that was the major adjustment I made. And then in the games themselves, it was just not swinging at the outside pitch has always been my problem. So I finally got that down. And then I was a lot better at hitting his pitching. I've played him so many times too that I was used to it. So I think that also helped.
Anything you want to add to Clutch about Stars on 8?
Yeah, I mean, so we've talked about it. I mean, BoomerangBro, it's well documented. The runner-up 3 straight times, and you go down in game 1. Like you said, it was all one-run games, but you pop out with 2 on, a losing game 1. Kind of been there, done that. I mean, you then come back and win 4 straight against Toasty, the 2 to win winners finals, and then the 2 in grands. I mean, how do you kind of have that comeback, and how do you not succumb to like feeling like, oh, here we go again? I'm gonna, come runner up again. Like, kind of what was that thought and mentality after you go down 0-1 in that winners final set?
Yeah, this series, I just had so much confidence throughout the whole bracket. Like, I didn't really feel scared or anything after losing that first set and or first game. I'm like, even if I lose this set, I'll beat, I think it was Krasny, and then come back and win 2 more sets. Like, I thought that I was going to do it no matter what. So I wasn't really too worried about how each game was going to go. And playing just that loose was so helpful for me. And I think that definitely contributed to my success.
Yeah, I feel like just having yourself in the winner side just really helped you out a lot. You always fought from the loser side, so you never really had that like backbone to carry you off of. And I feel like you just said, hey, I can lose the first set, I can come back in the second one. You played to win, and it showed up.
Yeah, exactly. It felt great. Just playing with confidence is huge, and I've been trying to use that going forward because that really helped me with both these turnings this weekend.
All right, Clutch, anything to add for Stars on 8?
I gotta ask. We've talked about Easter eggs on the podcast before, and people were talking about it and transitioning to MPSS11 with the player cams. The koala bear in the background, is there a story with it? I know you study medicine. It looks like it's got a doctor's jacket on, but I think people were curious. I believe it's a koala bear. If you want to correct me on that, but I think people were curious about that this weekend.
Yeah, there's not much there. My sister got it for me for my birthday, which was like a couple weeks before med school started. So I just I've had him sitting there basically ever since. It's been over a year and a half now, and he's just been watching and always just sitting there. So that's basically all there is to it. But yeah.
I bet he went wild for some Hammer Bro home runs this weekend. So
yeah, definitely.
Your good luck charm. All right, well, let's move on to the second tournament you won, Net Play Superstars 11. You take down Poke Bunny from the loser side, 9-4 and 10-0 with a mercy. A lot of pop-offs on the player cam with between you two here. I feel like you two were the stars of it, as well as Poke's reaction with that wall jump. You know, I feel like you were late on the wall jump. That's what it was. The late input.
I would love to put it back into Rio and practice it about 10 times. I don't know. I went back and watched it, and I really don't know what I did wrong. It might have just been uncatchable, but I would love to know if it was or not, so I could either say, "Oh, miss input, get better," like that. Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting play, and as you can tell by the reaction and just the overall stream reaction, I think everyone thought that was a catchable ball, and they thought that I lined it up. So, is what it is.
Is what it is. Well, Boomer, again, this is the second tournament in the weekend you won. Was there anything like that you were thinking like, hey, I already won the one tournament, should I just, play for fun? Or are you just out for blood?
No, I was out for blood. I was not. I really wanted to win this tournament. Even back weeks ago when they announced it, I'm like, because the last two times I wasn't able to play, so this time I just really was focused on getting to the top, at least getting like top 4. And I just once again played with confidence, worked hard. I practiced way more than I have before. And just between this MPSS and the last one, it's been so long. So over that time, I really improved a lot. So that was just such a big difference maker for me.
Yeah, one of the biggest gaps of major tournaments we've ever had. Starzon even took a little bit of a break, which is kind of weird. So, it really just showed that even with this tournament, a lot of people said it was the Mickey Mouse tournament. We still saw a lot of good competition. A lot of the top players that, wouldn't, have been there were not there. And it really just showed for other people how to play and how to get to that top level, BoomerangBro. You were one of the people that, in my opinion, didn't get to show their true skill. You had to drop out of top 8 for the last 2 tournaments, I believe. So, you really lit the fire for the tournament. In my opinion, I just want to have a question for both of you two. You think the player cams helped you out a little bit? At all? You just gotta see the reaction of your opponent, or you want to pop off for the camera, give you a little bit extra hype?
I mean, while I'm playing, I don't have audio on. One, it's distracting. Two, I don't want people being like, oh, they can listen to the commentators. Commentators are like breaking it down. It could be like coaching. Like, so I don't want that. But I do have it on so I can kind of like see chat. Cause like at the end of the day, I'm doing this for myself for competing, but I'm also trying to perform. Like I'm trying to be entertaining. And by the way, before everyone's like, oh, you played it up for the camera then. No, that is how I play normally with just the monitor in front of me. I'm yelling at the game. I'm talking to the game. I'm like, why are you giving me low traj? Why are we crushing the ball? Like that's normal. So, I mean, for me, it's kind of an outlet to be like, when I'm just sitting back here and there's no one watching me, it's like, well, maybe you think I did something you thought I did intentionally, and then my face says, no, that was a complete accident. Like, I don't know what just happened. I think it gives context, and I think it creates a story. And I think that's really interesting because, we have some hype moments and things like that, but it's just the play on the screen. Now we connect the play at the screen with the reactions from both players. I mean, like I said, the BoomerangBro pop off from losers finals is now a GIF. The Poke Bunny and my reactions when Luigi missed the wall jump will go down in Mario Baseball history. I mean, we saw the success of doing it at the meetup, and obviously we didn't have audio for those either because there wasn't like a audience mic to pick up crowd noise on that stream. So it was really the same thing as long as people had the camera at home. So basically the difference is the venue provided it for us at the meetup, and now we need the people at home to have it. But if they have it, it just adds an element and adds a story for the commentators and the people watching at home, allows you to connect with people. So I hope it's the standard going forward. I hope if anyone needs help finding a budget webcam, you can always message me. I'm always happy to help with that because it's super awesome. So I hope people get on board. and want to participate in future MPS streams with Player Cam.
Yeah, I want to thank you, BoomerangBro, for putting the cam for the face reveal for the first time. A lot of people are comfortable with that, so shout out to you. I feel like that helped you out. I don't know, you popping off, everyone talking about it, just gave you a little extra fire.
Yeah, I definitely thought that since I'm gonna show my face for the first time, I better do well. I can't just go 0-2 and lose, and that's just depressing. So I'm like, okay, I'm showing my face. I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna win this tournament, have some fun. And on top of that, I loved having the face cam. It's like I was watching it on my other monitor while I was playing. It was so much fun watching the other person, like watching them get mad or watching them pop off, and it was just great. Like going against Poke, it was so fun seeing his reactions to how I was playing, and then seeing his reactions to what he was doing. And then Clutch was the best because he's just making all these weird faces and all these hand movements and pointing at the camera, giving thumbs up. It's just so funny. And the announcer feeding off that too, so it made the commentary even better too. So it was just great. And then also watching the VODs, it's the same thing. I love being able to it's so personable. You can really see what the players are going through and what they're thinking. So I really hope it's continued in future tournaments.
Yeah, I feel like it keeps it forever. You can see the reactions forever. You can always say, "Oh, this is what I felt." Now you can actually physically see how they're feeling. So, hey, I want to thank you too for both. Having a really good competition. It was a really good tournament. We'll talk about more later in the episode, but hey, player cams. I feel like everyone should have them on their tournaments now. All right, well, Clutch, I'll have you take the ropes here, talking about the NBA Cup. Your top 8's finalized, I hear.
Yeah, so big shout out to the competitors in the NBA Cup. Even with MPS11, we still stayed on schedule. So the top 8 is now finalized. We had 6 of the top 8 seeds advance. We were talking about the only player to not win the bracket they are named after was Poke Bunny. So after coming runner up in MPSS 11, gets upset by me the next day to miss out on top 8. Otherwise, only other upset was BoomerangBro advanced over Cheeky, which I guess based on the results of MPS 11, not super surprising probably. So Colby 2D officially locks up the Giant Slayer prize, having the biggest upset over Matty Ice in an earlier round. Top 8 matchups, so we reseeded. So I had the lowest seed remaining, so I will play Remkey. Krasy plays BoomerangBro. Hell's Hero plays Matt Gree. And then the middle matchup, and honestly the most intriguing to me in the opening round, is Jason versus Mr. Joe. It'll be the Dinger City boys in top 8. And then we'll do opening round and losers round 1. That'll be completed by Wednesday the 17th. And then keep an eye out. I want to at some point go synchronous and do a final stream, but we'll figure out when that works, if it's at 6 or 4 or however many people left. We'll get some NBA Cup hype again before it closes up.
Sorry, there was a spider. I just killed it. It was probably about like this big. So it was on one of my records on my wall. I had to take it off my record and kill it. So yeah, hey, I think the NBA Cup's one of the better formats for top player tournaments. Asynchronous, you can do it however you want to. Well, there's still time slots, but it's like a stars on type of feel. I kind of wish I entered into that now. I probably would have got kicked out a lot earlier, but like I think I'd be now thinking about it. I'm going to sign up for the next one. I feel like everyone should. It's like an MPSS type tournament. You guys want to talk about any of your other games in that at all?
I mean, I almost got knocked out around before. Like I said, I beat Poke Bunny. It was, it might have been 13. It might have been 13 innings. I won on a Bowser slap hit.
Wow, that's crazy, actually.
It was bases loaded, 2 outs and 2 strikes, and he'd been pitching really well on my Bowser. I'm like, I'm slapping for this. Like, I'm done trying to hit a homer. Like, it's 2 outs. I just need a run. So I get it there. But I mean, I almost lost to Face the round before. They came back on me almost in the 9th inning. And prelude to MPS 11 pools to try and make it out while I'm down in Miami. I got to come back with 4 in the bottom of the 9th, send it to extras against Face like that. So yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about this later. I kind of put it in, but like there is some crazy competitive Mario Baseball right now. I think the middle tier is like climbing closer to like the top like 10. I think basically like top 10 would have been heavily favored before, and now I think top 10's got to like watch their back. I think anyone from like 30 on up can have a really good matchup. I think the only people that are kind of immune to that right now is probably like Remke, Krasi, Hells, Cactus, maybe Jason. Otherwise, I think you're in for the fight of your life, no matter what.
All right. Anyone want to add anything before we move on to our topics for the day? All right, we're going to go in with a viewer comment. This is going to be talking on the last episode from NetPlay Superstars 11 predictions. Teebling saying the shade towards Matty Ice is disgraceful. Well, we did figure out that, it was anyone's game. And when we did see that in the tournament, BoomerangBro, I thought BoomerangBro was going to take it all the way in winners. Weren't you in the winner's side? Yes, you were. So you beat Baltimore to be on the winner's side. I thought you were going to take it all the way. You did lose that one game. I think it just sparked a fire in there.
Yeah. He just had to show off. He had to take the hardest route possible once he got the top 8. Like, we'll talk about it, but like, dude, before he wins like Mickey Mouse Championship, dude had to go 8-1 to win this tournament. He loses in first round of top 8, so yeah, he's still coming in on a winner's side. He still has to win 5 straight after that to take it all. Like, I mean, if that's not getting hot, I don't know what is. And well, like I said, the people he had to go through too. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that, but so, and then in terms of like the shade towards Matty Ice, I wasn't on the pod last time, but I think there's a middle ground that this community is not acknowledging when it comes to Matty Ice right now, while he is not playing every single day like he does in the off season. I think the newer people don't give him enough props, and I think sometimes I'm one of those people, I'll admit. And I think the older people remember Matty Ice of old, and I think their memory is correct. I think their opinions are correct, but I just don't think he's there right now. But I think we saw by this tournament, there's no reason that he can't go back to Matty Ice of old. So I find it interesting that people see it as shade. I think just people haven't seen it yet. And so I think, like I said, there's a middle ground when it comes to opinions on Matty Ice. You don't have to be on the, oh, he's washed, or, oh, he's still a god. I think there's a middle ground right now. I think he's closer to that, oh, he's a god. I think he competes with that top 5. So, but anyone in that top 5 can get beat by any of the people that were in that top 8 this weekend. So we saw how that went down.
Yeah, I mean, things are changing. People aren't used to change, in my opinion. I think Matty's still a very good competitor. It's just everyone has their days. Everyone doesn't have their days. This was BoomerangBro's weekend. BoomerangBro just kept feeding the fire with wood and kept sparking up something. Took the hardest way, kept going, won every game by some miracle of God, and just, you came out on top. So, I mean, you had a walk-off grand slam. What else happened? You had a bunch of like anti-chemistry that went to your side, if I'm remembering correctly.
I mean, he had the body check that went his way.
Yeah, the body check too.
It ended up not mattering because of the BJ bobble, but he had the body check that went his way. He, like you said, the Grand Slam homer. Grand Finals actually was very like vanilla. Other than the fact that this guy comes out at just 10-0s poke.
Yeah,
in game 2.
First game.
But that game 1 was just very like, you could tell he was in control the whole time, and like there wasn't like really like a turning point. I felt like just it was a clean game.
There were definitely a couple moments for sure, but I got 2 big double plays with bases loaded that were just a difference maker. And then I also struck out Berto when she had 3 stars to work with. Got him to burn both stars. So those are the 2 big moments. But yeah, besides that, 3 of my games were mercies. 1 was a 6-run game, and then the poke game I lost by 1 in the 13th. And then pretty much the only time it was really close and I thought I had a good chance of losing was against Clutch in that loser's final match.
Yeah, that bobble, that was so unfortunate, Yet no one wants to put up a 13-inning game that no one can really get on the other side of the victory circle, and just lose off of a bobble of a weak hit to right field, a diving play that you should have caught that was very good input by you, just drops. No one wants to win by that. So I don't even think Poke wanted to win by that. You just, it is what it is. That's how the game of Mario Baseball is. I think that's what Baltor put in the chat.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, I feel like that did want to make you win in the grand finals, having that rematch. So let's go break down your run in Net Play Superstars 11. You win against Colby 2D and Walrus. You know, very good job there. Those are two very good players in the community. They're both rising up. Walrus been there forever. Colby being a newer player here. How'd you feel about the new pool format that Cokes put out?
I mean, I was pretty stressed. I thought before it was pretty. If you lose to somebody that's not like top level, then you're probably still gonna make it through on run differential. So before it was like, okay, I can lose this game and I'll be fine. But now, like, you lose one game and you're going to like a 15 game losers run. It's almost impossible. So both Walrus and Colby, I was down by like 4 or 5 in the third or fourth inning. So I'm like, okay, you really gotta turn it around, or I'm probably done. It's just very stressful to play through. But although I like it, it's just I don't know. I don't know if I want that kind of stress in round 1 of the bracket.
Clutch, do you have similar opinions?
Well, first of all, the Walrus game is incredible. It was on your channel, Raviannn, so people should go back and watch it. That Walrus BoomerangBro, yeah. I now that you brought it up, I remember Walrus went up early, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm like BoomerangBro's Mike's gonna get upset, like 3rd seed here, and then you came back and you turned it on. Well, let's see. I guess my initial thought was, so one, normally you have like, I'm just gonna say it, usually either a new net player or someone, you know, really on the lower end that joins and you get a game against them. But with having the bye as a top seed, you don't see that player. So like you can't like kind of ease yourself in with an easy game in pools or know you have that like game that's like, okay, I'm just gonna win it. My second game was against Bacon, which like I've always, you know, played them really well. I didn't mercy them. I feel like that's the thing is like in old pools, I feel like just by the time you get to some of those players, they kind of know it's over, and so they're just kind of playing it out, and so you just turn it on a little bit, and it's like 10-0 after 4 innings, and you're done with it. You just kind of know that it's going to be an easy game. But when they know, oh, if I win this one, I'm now 1 win away from being on winner's side of bracket, it brings out their best. And then, like I said, face, I had to score 4 in the 9 to not get down to losers. Like, these games are ridiculous, and so I think it makes it more competitive. I think it also helps display that, like I said, I think the gap between mid tier and top tier is closing in this community. I think that is happening. But I think we're going to see more pools madness when it comes to MPSS. I really do think that the top seeds that normally just kind of glide through, I don't think we're going to see that all the time. And I think more importantly, more of them will end up on loser side and have to make a loser side run. And I feel that's totally fine. Either they do it or they don't, and then they're out, and then that opens it up for other people. And so I think, you know, as long as we're going to keep having these often enough, and there's other formats, if you want to see a tournament that's well run and the top seeds are going to come through and it's exclusively top seeds, let's have Mr. Joe run another spring series, which, by the way, that was a fantastic series. I hope it happens again. I talked about it on the pod. That was the best collection of top players that we've seen ever in a tournament series, and it was super entertaining. And guess what? I think this MPSS11 might have been one of the best. I think the production quality was there. I think the quality of matches were there. And I hope that continues when we drop our top 6-7 players back in that weren't here for this one. Big shout out to Cokes for announcing the next 3. So I get the feeling some schedules are going to be cleared. So I would love to see this pools format continue. I would love to see how it continues to go. I don't know what further advantage we could give to top seeds, but I don't think it's necessary right now. Just go win your games.
I feel like we're too small to do that.
Yeah, just it's so competitive, so much fun. I do have to say that. Even though it's stressful and I feel like it makes it harder for me to make the deep runs that I feel like I'm capable of and should be making. I think that makes it more entertaining and fun. So I hate it for myself personally, but for the community as a whole, I love it, and I'm super excited to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
As someone that is on the back end of it, I don't play in it. I did play in Net Play Superstars 9. I think 10 too. I think I got out in pools in both of them. I don't think I made it out once. The pool system, I
almost made it out in 10.
I was ass back then.
You were fighting for it.
I was pretty ass back then though, but
Okay, you were, and you almost made it out of pools in 10. I would love to see you play at MPSS11 or in 12 and see you play again and see if you could make it out or not. I bet you'd be one of those people that'd be like a lower seed and you'd have a shot at knocking off a top seed. I would love to see it.
That's the thing, man. I don't want to do that because then, like, I'm gonna probably be producing it. I don't want to take that away from someone, you know.
Yeah, what happens when we get to top 8 and you're like, so do I hand the keys to somebody else or do I play?
I could do both. It's just kind of hard. But I like to see
talk about how hard it is to win Stars on Showdown and MPSS on back-to-back days. How about produce MPSS and play in top 8 on the same day?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably do it. Like, I mean, I could probably do it. You just gotta put the overlays on and then like show a replay, and then on the second monitor, I could just like bind it to like a key on my keyboard. Pretty easy. It's a little bit different, but I like to see the system we had come back as a TO helper with Cokes. It was so much easier, in my opinion, like than me. I did some tournaments with myself. Just ran so much easier. You didn't have to talk about anything with someone. You said, hey, make sure you get your games in and you're all good. And everyone finished it super fast. Shout out to everyone doing that as well. I think this was the best tournament we've ever had with people getting their shit done. I think we had to wait one day for one bracket. That was it. Everything was done. Everything was ran smoothly. Shout out to Cokes. Shout out to the community. Netplay Superstars, I think we found our home, and now we want it to be done. That's just me. Keep it going. Maybe when we get to like the 100 player, 125 player mark, we allow the top 6 to go in there and stay, and you move on to the bracket automatically. But I feel like we're gonna keep it how it is. And speaking of top 6, with the win from BoomerangBro in the bracket play, Baltor with the losers run makes top 6. Let's get a little bit of applause for Baltor.
For the players champ.
For the players champ, then MPSS6 champion. Finished number 6, or finished in top 6. We believed in you, man. You made it there. You had a good run. I was happy about it. You know, we were talking earlier, Matty Ice. He's still a very good player. I think Baltor is below Matty Ice, but he was still kicking it. And you know, he had I think who did he lose to in the loser side? It was Matty, yeah.
Baltor lost to Matty. He was up early in that game, and there was just a meltdown late. I was watching that game in between my winners semis and winners finals, and yeah, I thought Baltor had it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Matty was a bit shook from my comeback, which anybody would be. I was actually a bit surprised that Matty was. He looked like he came out slow, and as I said, I think Baltor cornered him and Matty went feral, and I got really scared because I'm like, oh god, I'm like we awakened something. But yeah, so that was unfortunate for him. I guess I'm now thinking about it, you know, BoomerangBro, you had to beat 3 former MPS champs to win this. They were all pre MPS. I'm going to say 7. I'm not 100% confident. I think Baltor is 6 might be the most recent. I think Matty and Walrus came in before that. I would love if someone in the comments would correct me. I know that's a blind spot for me. But are they still tough matchups? Are they kind of relics of the past? I just kind of does the prestige of their early ones still match up to the later ones? And just kind of what feeling do you have before you play these former champs right now?
Yeah, I'd definitely say about all 3 of them are around the level of me. Maybe like just not in the top 5-ish players, but like right below that, with like kind of like you, me, and then a bunch of other players around us. So I definitely think they could win a new one on any given day. Anybody can win. But I do think the ones back there are probably more likely to win. But I definitely think any of those 3 could pull out a nice run these days. And that Baltor game was just like the Walrus game. I was down by a few going into like the 6. I was down 5 or something, and I had to turn it around. And Baltor was playing out of his mind against, I think it was Caesar, the game before that. Yeah. It was like one of the best games I've ever seen him play. So like that was right before me. So I was getting kind of worried there. Walrus, he beat me in like mid-tier mania. I got 3rd in that because Walrus, that was also on a bobble. And then Matty Ice, that whole game was interesting, but That was after I was feeling so on after that Shab's Mercy, and I was just feeling so good against Matty Ice. It kind of went the same way. So I've played him in ranked before, and I think he's just basically the same level as me. And without ZYZX, I think probably have a pretty fair matchup in the future.
Why don't we go there? The ZYZX and kind of that matchup. Like you said, you got a fire lit under you after that BJ bobble. So you 10-0 Shabs, you 10-0 Matty Ice. When that started happening, I don't want to talk about like feelings on what happened, but like when it started happening, did you pick up on what was going on right away? And like, did you think that game was over? Like, kind of what was your feelings at that time, at that point in the game?
The game against Matty Ice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew. He showed bump with Bowser. I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna be ready to get hit. But then he showed bump Magic I'm like, yeah, he's giving up on this game. There's no way he's gonna keep playing. So I was figuring he was gonna start hitting me, and that's exactly what he did. So I was basically expecting it. I was watching the stream, and the chat seemed to be a little late to catch on. But I was like over in the corner. I was just like smiling, put my controller down, and just watching it happen. Because I think it wasn't great for the sport, but from my perspective, I was just trying to get through the game, and it was only 6-0 in the third inning. So like he obviously has come back from that before, and probably greater deficits. So I was just relieved to be able to get past that game without having to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, coming from me, I'm the producer of it. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting people to put 100% effort in it, and we understand things happen. So it's unfortunate that that had to happen. I hope things do get better, but you did have a very good run on that loser side. Let's continue to talk about what happened in top 8. So you did lose to Poke Bunny. You didn't BoomerangBro, not you, but your BoomerangBro didn't pay off all game. We did hear, I don't know if it was in the chat or commentary booth, but I heard if this guy picks HammerBro, he wins every single game. Is there a reason why your BoomerangBro wasn't on and why you switched to HammerBro later on?
Well, the main thing is I just pick HammerBro and I have Bowser Chem. That's what I usually go off of. And then I did solo HammerBro against Clutch. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick PDBro with HammerBro against Poke. It didn't really work out. I had some flyouts and a couple of home runs that were robbed. So I think I'm gonna stick with my BoomerangBro because I hit pretty well with them. I hit that home run against Matty Ice. Poke was just like I was just getting jammed so many times, so many pop outs, just like how I hit with King Boo. So I'm pretty satisfied with my BoomerangBro play overall, though. So I'm probably gonna stick to that for now, especially when I don't have Bowser.
And one thing that you do that no one else does is Diddy Captain. Are you going to continue to pick Diddy Captain?
I don't know, because they posted the stats today in the server, and I was like, my Diddy Captain had like an 80% win rate or something overall, but he had a 20% win rate against top like S and A tier players. So it's just like it worked, and it worked so well. Like in Classic League, I have my Diddy. I beat Remke on stream with my Diddy Captain. I had like 3 slices that game. But then towards the end of the game, you start figuring out how to pitch to him, and Poke was doing the same thing. You just pitched him like you pitched to Birdo because he's a short bat. And the problem with Diddy is like a frame 3 won't help you. It's just gonna be foul, and you're gonna waste a star. So you're gonna need to hit a frame 10 or frame 2 slice on an outside pitch that may or may not make contact. So it's just really hard. And if you have Diddy Captain especially, they're just ready for it. They're gonna pitch you like that, especially top level players. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I'm gonna keep going against like the new net players and keep slicing and having fun. And I hit that slice against Poke with Diddy non-captain because he threw an inside pitch and he wasn't expecting it. So I might just stick to non-captain Diddy, and I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm very consistent with my slices. Like before that game against Poke, I just went into like practice mode and hit like 26 straight slices. So I can do it if I have easy pitches, but against good players, it's just really hard to keep playing Diddy at a high level.
Anything you want to add, Clutch?
Yeah, I just remember watching back that game, and there was a point in the game. Oh, what was it? It might have been like the 4th or 5th inning. You had like 1 out. You had a runner on third, 1 out, and you went for the boomerang ball for like 2 stars. You missed both, and you end up striking out. When like any other player probably would have just gone for the bunt, get the run in. With how that game was looking, like any regrets, like kind of putting all your eggs in the basket there, or like even if you stick with Diddy Captain in the future, like maybe in a situation like that, knowing that they're likely to pitch, outside, do you think you try and find a way to lay down the bunt, get it down, not worry about the timing, and get that run in?
It just depends on the game situation. Because it was early in that game, I didn't know how long it was going to go scoreless. So I was just trying to put some hits together and get more runs. Like, I didn't really want to get just one because I knew I had starters and I had somebody on thirds. If I get a double there, one more hit knocks him in. So I was just trying to get multiple runs. I was thinking about bunting with 2 strikes, but like I don't like doing that. I know a lot of people in the server do. I think you did that as well with Madge. So it's like I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't like bunting with 2 strikes. I'm not good at bunting either, and I don't really like it as a concept. I think it's kind of cheap, but it's just I probably in the future would bunt there, just get the free run and be happy with it, especially against somebody that's a good pitcher and a game I know would be low scoring.
Yeah.
You can go for it.
There's another one. It was right after that inning. It was the 5th inning. You had bases loaded, nobody out. You have a Boomer pop out, BJ strikeout looking, and KB low trash slap right to third base to get Noble tigered. Like I said, at that point the game was 0-0. There had not been a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs before the 4th inning. Like, it's not even like you guys were like, just like key pitching and key at bats. You guys just weren't getting anybody on, period. How devastating is it when you finally get an opportunity to really punch the runs in and you don't get any across?
I don't know. Honestly, it wasn't that devastating. Like I didn't even remember that situation. I didn't remember having bases loaded, no outs in the 5th until you mentioned it. I'm like, oh, I went back and watched it. I'm like, wow, I really got out of this. My best hitter's up. So I was like, wow, but like now thinking back on it, I was just trying to get some sac flies because I have 3 people that can hit like fly balls. So I figured I'm gonna get sac flies or hit a home run or hit something in the gap. So as long as I don't pop out, which I did do, and that BoomerangBro pop out, I might have been able to score from third. It would have been close. But with no out, with 1 out at that point, I didn't really want to risk it. And then Bowser Jr., he was pitching so well to Bowser Jr. I can't believe I picked him again. Yeah, and then the slap was I never slap a KB. I always play Caesar though, and he always does it so well. So I'm like, oh, maybe this will work. I'll try it out. Because like mid at bat, he moved Yoshi from left field to second base and put Luigi in left. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can get something down in front of him because he doesn't have Yoshi out there anymore, and it'd be easier than hitting a home run or like trying to crush one. But I was just my timing was off and I hit it right. I hit it perfect, but just right at third baseman.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to the loser side here. You did get knocked down by Poke there off of that unfortunate bobble in the bottom of the 13th that we did talk about earlier. You did 10-0 Shabs, and then right back at it, you got the 10-0 from Matty Ice. Unfortunately, had to drop out there. Did that BJ bobble that we talked about earlier lit a fire? And how did that Matty Ice game like impact you later on in the tournament, if it did at all?
Yeah, that bobble, I was so mad at the point. Like I said on the post game interview too, that I was just like, I can't let this define my tournament. At first, I'm like, okay, I guess that's it. That's just how Mario Baseball is. You're gonna lose and lost. I'm not gonna win 5 in a row. So I was kind of like, okay, GG's. But then I was going against Shab, like mid-game against Shab. I guess it was like mid-draft. I'm like, I'm not going to lose to these people. I got to come back and put together a good loser's run. Even if I don't win, I got to put together a respectable performance. So that kind of lit a fire. That did definitely light a fire under me, and I'm turned my hitting around. I kind of got a better read on everybody, better drafts I put together. So that definitely worked out well. The Shabs game was just over in a blink of an eye. I felt so good, just crushing him in the gap. My first 9 people reached base or something, which is more than I had against Poke the whole 13 innings, basically. So that definitely felt good. And then in the second inning, I finished it off. Matty Ice, I felt really good that game, too. My BoomerangBro had that home run. My KB, I think, also had a home run. I was just putting together, I had 2 runs in the first, second, and third inning, and my pitching was also doing really well. But the thing that was different about that game is I had PD Bro and Yoshi, which if I ever get that draft line, I'm in such good shape. Like right when I saw him pick DK at 4, I just felt so good because PD Bro was just my favorite offensive combo, and then Yoshi is just so good, especially against the DK who we picked before. So I was feeling really good about that game, and I'm glad I kind of stuck with that. It worked out.
Well, let's talk about it. Losers finals, Clutch versus BoomerangBro. All right. A notable part of that game was the let's call it Mori Tech, even though I did it first. Mori, I hate you. All jokes aside, Mori Tech, Clutch. Did you just not know about that?
So here's the great thing is that actually I match up enough in ranked, and he's done that to me before, like weird fielder swap, like manual fielder selects as the ball is coming in. So I know he does this. So I have seen it before. I have not fallen for it before, and then I decide to fall for it in the 9th inning of top 8 losers finals. Like, are you kidding me? I talked about it. Those games were so low scoring and so tight that I honestly, I really opened up my base running. And I actually think it cost me more than it helped me. But I was trying to be really aggressive on the base pass. And so I see him jumping around and I'm like, that ball's gonna go right under him. I'm gonna score an easy run. Like, and then I'm like, oh no, that's not how it works. The game still thinks the person's there. So even they're 50 feet up in the air, they catch the ball and it's an out. And so I mean, like, bad on me for, being dumb and like being reactive instead of thinking, kind of shutting the brain off. But yeah, I mean that's what happened on my end. I'm assuming Boomerang Bro, I mean, you just do it because you do it. So
Yeah, I literally was just doing it for fun. I wasn't expecting anything
yeah,
out of it. I'm like, oh, might as
no,
well do some more tech.
I do that all the time. It's just so much fun. It just, nothing else to do there. Why not just mash R and jump, So,
yeah.
and now let's talk about this that we have here. So the question is, why Hammer Bro over Boomer for the first time in top 8? Was that because of your Bowser chem?
Yeah.
So
I had Bowser Bro, so I wanted to go Hammer. Just to get that count.
that walk-off grand slam. Okay, let's talk about it. Was that the highlight of your Mario baseball career?
Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna go through the whole inning because that whole inning was very helpful because it started off with a Birdo bobble, knockout bobble at second base. And like I felt like somebody, I think it was Riley on the stream, was like, okay, he's getting one back from the Mario baseball gods. And I was really thinking that at the moment because that was huge. That was a star chance too. So
Yeah, it was.
and I had no stars. So I popped out with Mario, but then I had Toadsworth with a star and I got a single off of that too. So that one bobble almost gave me 2 hits. I could have gotten a Toadsworth hit, but you never know. So that was huge. And then
So I had Yoshi that game. Yoshi just does so much against Toadsworth.
Yeah.
If you don't get a good, I mean, if you get a bad star, Yoshi still works. But if you hit it well, then
Yeah, I was gonna try to pull it, and that doesn't work out very well for me usually. So that who knows how that would have gone. And then he walked Bowser, which I mean I would have done too, and pitched to Bro. And then first pitch, there was like a little inside pitch, barely a ball. I leaned in trying to get hit because I had Bowser Jr. on deck, and I was like double can Bowser Jr. down 1. I'd take that. And then second pitch, I see him line up on the inside of the rubber. I'm like, he's definitely gonna throw an inside pitch, and he's gonna try to steal a strike right here. So I kind of leaned in at first, and I backed up as the ball was coming towards the plate, and I read it perfectly, and I hit it perfect for a grand slam. And at the moment, that was definitely the highlight of my Mario baseball career, maybe even now. But after winning grand finals like that, it's kind of hard for anything else to be my moment. But that was just like, because I was down by 2, and that easily could have been the end right there. So that was just such a good moment for me.
Clutch, sorry to give this PTSD back to you, man. I mean, but you did it yourself. You put it in here. But
well, I mean, so from my perspective, when it was happening, so I do that first inside pitch, and he had leaned on the previous at bat too on like an inside pitch like that, and I'm like, he's been going Boomerang Bro. I'm like, he hasn't done anything. I'm like, I think he's uncomfy. I'm like, so I think he's trying to lean, get the run in, and get to BJ. And I'm like, so we'll sneak a strike in on the inside. And then he talks about it in the post-game interview. He's like, yeah, I knew he was going to try and sneak a strike on the inside. And so I lined up for it. And I'm like, you've got it. Like, like
the counterplay.
For anyone that doesn't know, if you're not thinking sequencing and picking up on things like that on the mound, then you're not playing the game at a high enough level. And that's fine. Like, it's fun and things like that. I used to not think that hard about what is my opponent doing in the box and what is happening. And so to pick up on that, come to that conclusion, and then be wrong just sucks. I mean, it just sucks. But I mean, great read. And that's the mental game. And it brings me back the Matty Ice. What was it? I think I hit the grand slam to come back. I think it was a 3-0 and then a 3-1. And I'm just like, okay, I'm like, I've seen mostly outside. I'm like, he's going to start outside and he's going to bring it right over the heart of the plate and we're just going to crush it. And it was right there. It was the exact pitch, perfect to right field. and it's a no doubter. It just picking up on sequencing, picking up on where you think the ball is going to be, and sitting on your spot, even if you miss it. It's the way to hit with heavies. If you're trying to read the pitch, it's impossible because they got small contact zones. You have to be early. Just you have to sit and start guessing. And that's how real baseball is played. Until you are down in the count and you need to protect, you're looking at specific areas of the strike zone for your pitch that you want to hit. And so you got to think the same way with the heavies. With the slap hitters, the bats are just so big and everything. Yeah, you can just react the whole at bat. Totally different ball game. But yeah, like I said, just that back and forth right there of I thought this, BoomerangBro thought that, and you saw the outcome. Just tells you how this kind of goes at a top level.
Well, we're here at Grand Finals. How confident were you that you could win 2 straight versus Poke?
I wasn't that confident, to be honest. I was more looking at the coin flip to see what I would get. I was really hoping I would get second pick the first game. Because I can't hit with heavies, but I can't really pitch to heavies either. Like, whenever I pitch against PD, I'm just giving up moonshots. But then my PD, I was 1 for like 14 throughout the tournament. So I was really hoping I could get PD, which I did. I got second pick the first game, so I felt a lot more confident. And then that also meant I got to face his Boo pitcher, who I just saw for 13 innings a couple hours earlier. So I thought that was going to be super helpful. And it was. I hit a lot better, got a couple runs in. But even then, I got like a Yoshi slap and then like a Mario fireball to get my first run. It wasn't anything special. So I just kind of started putting more and more things together. And then I got some DK slaps, I think. I had a lefty Wario slap for a run. So just kind of put some hits together. And then I broke it open with a King Boo 3-run shot, which was huge. I also had a bunt in that game. It was a bunt that he threw home on, which gave me that extra out. And then I scored like 5 more with 2 outs in that inning. So that was huge. A couple big double plays in there. Like he had Noki, bases loaded, 1 out, and somebody good on deck. I forgot who it was, but he star swinged right to Madge, who had a jumping catch and then stepped on third to get out of the inning. And later in the same game, I think it was the same game. Yeah, he had like first and second with Bowser up. So I walked Bowser. He has 3 stars to work with. And I throw 3 straight balls outside. He swings at all 3 of them, burns both of his stars, and that was almost the end right there because I was up by like 6 at that point with a couple innings to go. So I was feeling pretty good.
Anything you want to add, Clutch?
I guess the last thing that I had was, like I said, you kind of cruise in game 1. There, like I said, a couple key plays that keeps it as a pretty big game. But then what's the feeling going into game 2? Like, is it just like, yeah, we're going to 10-0 here real quick, be done, get out of here, send the fans home? Or like, were you expecting a battle? Like, I mean, kind of what was the vibe going into the game, and were you surprised at how quickly it started setting up like it did?
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be a neck and neck game. I got first picks. I had Bowser, and I didn't have Bro this time. I had Yoshi, which I like, but not really any power hitters. But I did get KB. And then, so I thought it was gonna be a back and forth game, but then I was looking at the chat during like the intermission between games. Like everybody's like, "Oh, I bet Kaz is like I'm betting the house on Boomerang," and then Waller's was putting all these points on me. Riley Scott, same thing, betting all these points. I'm like, okay, they all believe in me. I gotta start believing harder. So I was feeling so confident going into that game again. And then first inning was like a quick inning. Second inning, I got all the way to 2 outs, nobody on in the second inning. And the game ended with 1 out in the third, which is just crazy to me because I started with like a Yoshi slap, stole second, then a Mario fireball, got 1 run in, then a Paratroopa star hit, got another run in. And Paratroopa I haven't played in like 10 games before that, but I didn't really have anybody else to pick because he kept counting on my picks. And then I tried to go for the Dixie slice, which I didn't hit the first time. But then I hit a little slap, which I learned from you because you killed me in that game with Dixie slap. You had like 3 or 4 hits. So that was the first time I've ever used Ready Dixie in that game, but I was like 2 for 2 with her.
It's so good.
The contact zone is huge. Like that's my new thing now. And then what else did I do? Then I had Bowser up. I think he walked Bowser, and then he got out of the inning with 3 runs. Had a quick top of the third, bottom of the third. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get a couple runs. It'll be fine. Then I went like hit, and then I forgot it was Boo and Waluigi. They both got hits, leading to Wario, righty Wario, double chem.
That was a hype play. That was a very hype hit.
I hit a 3-run shot to right center, which I didn't think was gonna get over the wall jump, but it did. And like Wario, I'm like, why did I pick Wario? I'm like, what am I doing? So I'm like, I have to be late on it, which I kind of like anyway for power hitters, but that was huge. At that point, I'm like, I got this. I could give it up. He's come back for more. Like I've come back for more, but I was just feeling so good. I'm like, there's no way I'm losing this. And then a couple more star swings. I had the Dixie slice, and then it was like 2 guys on and 1 out, and Bowser was up, and he was pitching to Bowser. I'm like, he wants to go home, I guess. So, and I hit the 3-run walk off because he should have pitched to Bowser there down by 7. Mercy ends it, but I'm like, I was feeling so good. I'm like, I gotta hit this out, and then didn't.
I knew when you hit that Dixie slice, you were in full control. I was like, damn, this guy's going for a Dixie slice in grand finals. That's the balls on you to do that. Like, ooh, I knew you had full control there. Anything you want to add, Clutch?
I guess the last overall question. You've done something that nobody has done before, and that is win 2 major tournaments on back-to-back days. You're now the second person to be a Stars On and a Stars Off major champ, but just what did it take to win both? Because here's the thing, I understand that Stars On did a synchronous finals for like the first time, so that was probably the most Stars On games you played in a single day. With I think it was top 6 you guys played through, if I remember the stream right. And then you play through top 8 in one day for Stars Off. Like you said, lose the first one, so you got to go through the most games possible. How did you stay focused and locked for that many games to win both of them in 2, like I said, 2 straight days?
Yeah, I just really wanted to win both. Stars On, I would definitely practice less than I usually do because I was more focused on Net Play Superstars at the time. But so when I lost that game 1, I'm like, oh, maybe I should try a little harder. So I won the next 2, and I practiced a little bit. So I was feeling good because I hadn't faced any live Stars On pitching in like weeks because I was just focused on Stars Off. Because I was grinding the ranks, so I'm like grinding the S tiers. So I'm like, got focused on Stars Off. So I'm like, okay, I'll just win Stars On the side, and then go to Stars Off, and then really focus. Stars On was closer than I was expecting it to be, but still no reset or anything. And then Stars Off, that was my first game of the day because I have school. I have like quizzes on Monday. So I had all morning Sunday, I was just studying. And I got to like 3 o'clock my time. I'm like, okay, it's time for my game. So I didn't practice at all or anything. And I go up against Poke, who's like one of the best pitchers. I think that was probably why I struggled hitting so much. I hadn't faced Stars Off pitching in 2 days before that. And I was just playing Stars On the day before. But after that first couple games, I got in the groove, and then I felt a lot better the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, that's something we all probably forgot talking about. You're in med school, man. You're grinding for like 18 hours a day.
That too.
You get no sleep. You work insane hours. You're in the hospital all day. You don't get that much free time, and when you do, you spend it when you can. Shout out to you, man, making a play on both ends. That's not something a lot of people like to do. Work in the medical field, so giving you props for that as well. Well, one more thing before we end off this episode. It's a question that is there for the ages. I think you know what we're going to talk about, right? Or not at all? If you're a fan of the podcast, you know. It's the PK Kirby question.
Which technique or which component?
If you were a character in Mario Superstar Baseball, which of the 4 categories would you place yourself in, and what's your special ability?
Yeah, I always think about this whenever you guys ask the question. And that was before this week when I just won Stars Off. Because I was always going to say technique and quick throw. So basically like Peach. So I'm like, okay, I'm so much better in Stars On than Stars Off. And quick throw is such a good ability in Stars Off. I have good hands in real life. I do like kind of like surgical stuff. So I'm like, okay, yeah, quick throw is perfect. And then technique. Like that's definitely Peach right there. And then now I'm like, I have no idea because I kind of like Stars Off. So now I'm almost thinking balance. Like balance with quick throw still. So if there was a character like that, then that would be me.
Hey, seems like you already know it. A lot of us took a little bit to figure it out, so props to you on that. Anything else you want to add before we end off the episode today? Well, I think that's going to be it. I want to thank you, BoomerangBro, for coming on. I want to thank you, Clutch, for making the script and having this show be the way it is. And I want to thank both of you guys. The people don't know, but I was late. So thank you both for waiting. As I always say, thank you for tuning into the Mario Superstar Baseball podcast. Dingers and Discourse, your one-stop shop for everything Mario Superstar Baseball. Watch our previous episodes that are going to be either on our homepage for Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on my YouTube channel, Raviannn. Make sure to follow these folks on Twitter. I don't know if Boomer, you have one. He'll DM me on that one. But follow Clutch. I know follow Clutch. I know Clutch. I can't point. Follow Clutch. I know Clutch has one. And if BoomerangBro has one, that will be linked down below as well. I want to thank you guys for coming in. Thank you all for watching. As I always say, adios and goodbye. Thank you for watching the Mario Superstar Baseball podcast. If you enjoyed this one, you can look at the other one that will be right in front of you right here. Yes, right in front of your face. Make sure to watch that episode. I'm not lying. Please watch that episode. It's right in front of you. Just click the goddamn button.